I just wanted to share two questions from the Instagram page. I kind of understand it and I also don't understand it. So I am in between that dilemma. Only that which can destroy itself, fully alive. So basically, I just wanted to share this question and then its explanation. Yesterday, because I didn't give my 100% to it, I just wanted to read it for myself once more. And I just thought, I should share it. Maybe someone in my audience is going through that thing too. And it's just sometimes when I am alone, when I read it aloud, things make more sense to me. Well, let's start. I find it very hard to commit to anything in life. How can I fix that? I really get bored easily, whether it's possessions, things, or whether it's people, friends, colleagues. I find it very hard to commit to anything in life. How can I fix that? Why should you commit yourself to anything? Yeah, why does commitment imply? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Why just because you did this nikah paper signature after living together, husband, wife, you found it, it's not going all right. So why is there this commitment? Like, you have to live. If you have made this one mistake and married this one person, now you have to do it forever till your last breath. Why do you have to suffer? Suffering is on both sides. Commitment says, I promise to be this way in the future, no matter what. Is that a bad thing? It brings depth, safety in relationship, and it allows us to improve our craft. Oh, I love this question. Are you the same person today as you were 5 years ago? No, of course not. I'm growing every second. Every experience changes me. Yet, despite this change, I can commit and promise to stay the same. Isn't that a noble thing to do? No man ever steps in the same river twice. For it's not the same river, and he is not the same man. Everything in this reality is constantly changing. To commit to anything implies a state of ignorance to this very fact because you demand permanency. But to be honest, after reading Frederick Lenz, now I feel like possessions, these external things, possessions and relationships are just distraction. I don't think so. The peace, satisfaction is gonna come externally. It's something to do internal. Make other people comfortable because it's hard for them to label me. I'm not doing things that mostly people are doing. I guess when you don't follow the path that everyone majority is following, it's really hard for others how to talk to you, how to label you, how to put you in a box. Am I making sense or not? So the point here is change is constant, and when you are committing, it's a kind of state of ignorance because you are demanding permanency. You say, I, my present self, promise to behave this way in the future, promising to behave this way in the future. Yet the future is unknown. Your future self will not be the one who speaks today. Every moment remakes you. Each breath writes a new truth. You are a river. Only statue stays the same, and they are dead, stagnant. To commit or to promise is to betray your future self, to build a cage and deny truth, because truth is not something in the past or the future. Because truth is not something in the past or the future, it's not something you can predict, it is something you discover in the moment. It is alive, truth is alive, truth is fresh. Commitment is a complete rejection of the natural flow of life. It's dead, it's not fresh. But what about marriage? Don't we need stability of the commitment in life? You promise to love him forever. Life happens, old desires die, new desires arise. You both evolve, you both learn, and you both grow in different directions. The promise is still there, that old promise. What do you do to keep the promise? Typical Pakistani people, what they do, we perform, we act, we pretend, we lie. And what is the logic behind our lies? We are acting from the point of view diplomacy. You can't be always happy, so you have to sacrifice, Aisha. We pretend, we lie, we suppress how we actually feel because we are afraid to break that contract, that stagnant contract, that dead contract, opposite to the nature. We are afraid to be alone. Yeah, that's why I love those lines from Alan Watts. What relationship really is, especially the husband wife. I will fill your emptiness and you fill my emptiness. Or in other words, the relationship is, doing arrangements for each other, not with heart, but just the commitment, the dead commitment. We're afraid to be alone. And that's why when you will become old and you will not marry, so you will be alone. And did you saw that woman? She was alone on her deathbed, no kids. So like this thing is from fear, the legacy of kids or the marriage thing. We are afraid to be alone and face the uncertainty of tomorrow. So what was once alive becomes an ugly show, performance show, pretending show between two hypocrites who betray themselves and each other day by day. Love is a dance. Love is not a contract. The rhythm of two hearts remains in harmony. The dance may continue for life. If the rhythm changes, pretending to dance is suffering. You stay because the connection is still real, not because you once swore to stay. A relationship is renewed every moment or it dies in pretense. Any commitment we make must be a commitment to what is alive in us now. And now, the card dollar present. What would such a commitment look like then? A real commitment, two people having a contract of truth. I help you awaken by telling you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. You help me awaken by telling me the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Not a contract enforced by fear, obligation, arrangements, but a shared devotion to reality. But what if the truth hurts the other? Sometimes truth hurts the ego, sometimes it triggers wounds. But the pain is not a sign to hide. It is a sign that something false is dissolving. Albedo negrido citrinitas, which as she talks in as alchemy. It's a sign that something false is dissolving. If my intention is pure and if I speak not to harm but to illuminate, then truth becomes an act of love. To withhold truth, to protect the other person is actually to keep them asleep. It is to manipulate their choices. It is to prioritize illusions over reality. God is truth. And the only way to know is to live truth, not as a concept, but as a reality. So the only commitment worth making is this. I commit to truth in myself, between us, and in every moment. Nothing else deserves a promise. A truly spiritual person, someone deeply touched with themselves, can't commit to anything in life other than truth. Make no rigid plans. They live spontaneously, responding to what is real in each moment rather than to promises made by a past version of themselves. A society built on deception and lies has made commitment a virtue. People commit to career path they choose when they were 15, great, conditioned, completely detached from what they are feeling in each moment. The absence of commitment is not a responsibility or nihilism. On the contrary, it is a radical responsibility to stay awake. It demands that you do not betray what is real inside you for the sake of security, expectation, or social approval. It requires courage to let life reveal itself step by step without clinging to an old identity just to feel safe. Only someone who is deeply attuned to themselves can refuse commitments. Yes, that is integrity, that is freedom. Absence of commitment is not a responsibility. It is a radical responsibility to stay awake. Do not betray what is real inside you for sake of social approval, expectation. It requires courage to let reveal itself without clinging to old identity. What the writer is saying in the description, it's devotion, path to liberation. True devotion can only exist when the ego is not. So we are approaching the relationships and possessions and things with ego. Devotion plus ego, self-abandonment. Devotion plus ego, that is unconditional love. As long as there is an ego with its shifting desires, with shifting fears, that ego must explore life in order to awaken from its strain. The moment the ego makes a promise, it blocks natural movement that could lead to liberation. Devotion then becomes self-abandonment, devotion plus ego. Self-abandonment inevitably turns into bitterness, turns into resentment. You sacrifice your own truth, the growth that comes from alignment just to protect an old promise. There is nothing spiritual about that. True devotion, therefore, can only happen at the end of one's spiritual journey. Since the ego has experienced all there is to experience and all there is to learn and seen through the illusion of personhood, and only then can there be a love without condition, the core of divine devotion. Until then, commitment to truth is the only commitment that does not lead to betrayal, does not lead to deception. Finally, the questions. So I love these questions because they brought more clarity in me. Make sense? First question. I don't disagree. We're worried about raising children. If ever there was a commitment, I don't think it would be fair to them to abandon them and if we decide parenting isn't for us. Now the writers of the Freedom from the Madness says, this is a beautiful question because it forces us to examine our deepest motivations. Before deciding to bring children into the world, we must first understand why we want to do so. Do we want children because society expects it? Because we fear dying without a legacy? Because we believe a child will fill the emptiness inside us? That child will be a distraction for us. Or repair a relationship. In Pakistan, if husband and wife relationship is not going well, then the first thing that comes to the elder's mind is repair your relationship by having a child, or give us a purpose we haven't found in ourselves. If the desire comes from fear, if the desire comes from loneliness, if the desire comes from insecurity, then we are not creating life. We are recruiting savior. A child should never be born to complete the parent. A child should be born from overflow, not from lack. When two beings are rooted in truth, when their love is full and alive, creation becomes a celebration. A child arrives not as a responsibility or an obligation, but as a natural blossoming of life, not a continuation of ego, but an expression of love. A child deserves parents who are awake enough to allow them to be themselves, not a project to mold, not a dream to fulfill, but a soul to meet. So the real question is not should we commit to having children? The real question is are we living from truth or are we living from fear? When truth is the foundation, everything, including parenthood, becomes sacred. Next question. Let me ask this. Let's say a man who wants to follow his dreams, ambition of going to a different country, travel around the world. That is his reality, but he has to commit to his sick mother, who is extremely emotionally dependent and will most likely wither away. Die if he leaves her. Now, the desired truth of this person is to leave the mother, but he can't do it because this is the mother who raised her with love, care when he was a kid, even though he never asked for it. But still, he feels pain whenever he thinks what will happen to his mother. He is in dilemma. This proves this is not always possible to just break free from commitments. If you think otherwise, do tell me what this person should do. This is not really a question of commitment. You haven't made a contract with your mother. What you are facing is the way society teaches us that relationships are transactional. You cared for me, so now I must repay the debt. But the duty and the guilt are not love. There is no presence in obligation. When love is alive, caring becomes natural. You nurture what you love, not because you must, but because your heart moves you to. If taking care of your mother feels like something you have to force, then love has already been replaced by fear and guilt. And the mother who is cared for out of obligation will feel like a burden. No wonder relationships feel like a burden, not cherished. So that's suffering for both. So, what's the real question? Can you care for her without betraying yourself? If presence and love are genuinely alive in you, then staying will feel true, not like a sacrifice. If staying suffocates your soul, then both of you are suffering. Sometimes you have to step away, feel the guilt, face the pain. Let it teach you where the real love is. Love should liberate both people, not imprison them. So it's not about leaving or staying, it's about choosing what keeps your heart honest. Because only honesty can heal. And oh yeah, Hazrat Anayat Khan, but now I'm out of my breath. I can't read it. Read it for yourself. Okay, his Instagram profile. Instagram profile. Yeah, there you go.